Hi everybody and welcome back to NFL Projectotron, the prediction site with a difference. Today we're going to be looking at the NFC East clash where the New York Giants go to Philadelphia Eagles. Rory, how do you see this one?
Well, this one is going to be another fun clash. You know, the NFC East just always, no one ever seems to run away with it. Nobody's ever going to get more than 10 wins. Nobody's ever going to get fewer than 6 wins. And you're kind of looking at the two teams who you'd think would be, with all respect to the Cowboys are probably going to end at 8-8 as they have the past 2,000 years.
They're already halfway to their win total.
Exactly, yeah. So we can take the foot off the pedal now. But the Giants, who are looking hot at the moment, you know, after losing the first 2 games of the season, they've won their last 3 and pretty well. Eli is looking like Eli of old, you know, the sort of supreme Superman fourth quarter quarterback who comes in and just does an amazing job and gets two rings out of it. Whereas the Eagles are kind of spluttering. They've got a 4-1 start despite themselves.
Yeah.
And a lot of that, I say despite themselves, a lot of that has to do with their special teams and their defense. Whenever they get a pick, always seems to go back into the end zone. So that's how they're going forward. Their offense just isn't motoring. They lost to Deshaun Jackson in the offseason. LaShawn McCoy hasn't been able to pick up where he left off last year, and Nick Foles just seems to have disappeared from his amazing stat line from last year. All indications point to a Giants win for me in this one. They seem to just be better in maybe every phase of play except special teams, but you know, if you can score on offense and you can stop the other team scoring on your defense, there's a good chance you're going to win this game.
That's how you win football games.
It's generally how you win football games. So despite the heroics that I'm expecting from the special team of the Eagles, I think the Giants are in really good form at the moment. I think they're going to win this one. I think a lot of Philadelphia fans will be upset. It'll be a low scoring game for them, high scoring for the Giants. I'm going to say 24-7.
24-7?
I think so, yeah.
Against Chip Kelly's high-powered offense.
High-powered, but not firing offense. They're really not doing very well.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
If LaShawn McCoy can find his range, again, that sounds weird for a guy who runs with the football and doesn't throw at all.
Yeah,
he's no Mohamed Sanu, but he's if he can get back to his running game of old, then they'll be fine. But I don't see it happening immediately. You know, he needs to kind of come out of this slump. He won't burst out of it. Not against the Giants the way they're playing.
Yeah, that's fair enough. The problem that I see for the Giants is that if LaShawn McCoy can get anywhere near last season's performances, and he started to look like it last week, where he got he picked up a nice outside reception on screen pass and got a couple of solid runs along the outside of the offensive line. I think that then the Giants are going to be in for a very, very long night. The bonus for both teams is that they have quarterbacks with, I'd say, questionable passing ranges. Foles, for all of his wonderful stat line last year, wasn't nearly as good as the score suggests. And again, this year, if you look at his score, he's actually throwing really solidly. He's not turning the ball over too often. He's throwing for touchdowns. He's throwing for yardage. He's got a high completion percentage. But when you watch him play, every single game, there are 2 or 3 passes that can easily be picked off. And the Giants' secondary is maybe the toughest secondary that they'll have played so far. The problem for the Giants, as I say, if LaShawn McCoy gets going, is that means they're going to have to try and stuff more people into the box to try and keep him contained. And if they're doing that, they're going to benefit the same way that the Eagles are going to benefit the same way they did all last season, where people had to stuff the box to try and stop Sean McCoy busting off big runs, and that left acres of space for Deshaun Jackson and Riley Cooper as it was at the time. This year Macklin has picked up a lot of the slack that Deshaun Jackson has left, even though he hasn't got the same breathtaking speed that Jackson has. He's a much better route runner. He's a much more polished receiver, and it seems like his ACL injury hasn't hampered him at all, even though he missed a year. What's probably going to be the defining thing for me is the Eagles secondary is terrible. The Eagles secondary it's awful. It is worse than you think it is. The cornerbacks, I mean, apart from Kerry Williams' mouth, has been the most impressive thing all season. Malcolm Jenkins is a solid safety, and even though Mike Adams had a good game yesterday in his brief appearances, or last week rather, in his brief appearances, he's not a solution. And much like with the Eagles, if the Giants' offensive line can make a couple of holes for rookie Andre Williams, who looked really good coming in for the injured Rashad Jennings at running back last week, if they can make enough holes early to try and establish a bit of a running game, then Eli is going to have all day to throw deep. And if he gets time to throw deep against lax coverage, Odell Beckham showed last week what he can do when he gets football in his hands. Ruben Randle has already progressed again this year beyond last year, and those guys down the outside should be really, really, really solid deep threats. Letting Eli off the leash a little bit from this offensive scheme that McAdoo has brought in of short passes and quick release. If you give him 2 or 3 shots down the field against this Philly secondary, he should have a lot of luck. And even when they get to the end zone, they have this delightful, very predictable but impossible to defend against tactic of we're within 10 yards, just toss the ball up in the direction of Larry Donnell, and he is going to catch it because he's too big and too strong, and no one is able to cover him properly. So they have a lot of options against a really, really weak passing defense from Philly. So I also think the Lions are going to win this.
Well, the Lions will come out winners of this game, no doubt.
Start this again.
I'll edit it.
So I also think the Giants are going to win this, and I can see them winning it easily by a touchdown, if not 2. I go along with you. I think they'll post high 20s, give them 28, maybe 31 points, and the Eagles will be pushing 20. If they get 21, if they can get 3 touchdowns against what is a really improved Giants D, I'd be very impressed. What about Projectotron?
Projectotron reckons that our predictions are about as solid as the Eagles secondary. It's gone for a 17-3 win for the Eagles, with touchdowns coming from LaShawn McCoy with a needless half-yard leap into the end zone over nobody in particular. I mean, if Devin Hester gets flagged for excessive celebration, I think McCoy should here too.
Yeah.
And then Macklin in a reimagined version of the Hail Mary, not getting into the end zone, or it doesn't look like he breaks the play.
I don't think that breaks the play.
Yeah, but the refs go ahead and award it anyway, and for some reason don't review it.
It's home field bias.
Obviously, clearly. And then Eli will throw for about 4,000 yards, but to no one in particular. And yeah, the Giants are going to come out big losers in this game. Giant losers.
Hey, very good.
There we go.
Okay, so there you have it. Rory and I are both going for fairly high scoring affairs, with the Giants taking it away to the Eagles. Projectron, on the other hand, has the Eagles protecting their home field with a crushing 17-3 defeat of the visiting New York Giants. Don't forget to check out our other NFL Projectotron this week, where we're previewing the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Tennessee Titans, and we look forward to joining you next week for more NFL Projectotron. We look forward to seeing you then. Enjoy the football.